Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is going to be a review of the PTE. Now, you might have been seeing this PTE words thrown around for the past, I don't know, couple of months, and I'm going to explain to you what it is. So it is the public test environment. It used to be private, but as of Wednesday, which is yesterday at the time of recording for me, it has gone public. So I think you might be considering, is the game now worth buying? Because in the past you might have had reservations. You might have been concerned about the gameplay, the problems, and quite a lot of things if we're being honest. So now look at the stealth hawk, look at the nose, it is pretty beautiful. We're going to discuss that and we're going to go through an old style Steam review, which you might have seen me and Beagle do when the game first came out, but the game has changed so much since then that, I barely even recognize it. And has it changed for the better or for the worse? Well, why don't we explore it together in an old Steam style checkbox review that people always used to do on the internet, but obviously we don't really see it that much anymore. So yeah, one of those classic little Steam reviews, and I think the first section is graphics. I mean, look for yourself. I always record and play in 4K, so to me, it's very beautiful indeed. You don't exactly forget what reality is. It's definitely above good, but definitely above average. For RTSs, it's not usually their focus for graphics, but in my opinion, they are solidly beautiful. Again, especially with the effects of the missiles and all the launches, it just really looks great, especially with all of the explosions. So there we go. What's next? Well, we have the gameplay. And to be honest, I probably should have saved this to the last because it is possibly one of the most important qualities of a game, the gameplay itself. And we have to do some assumptions here. We do have to assume that the game actually works, which it does most of the time, but not always. But when you take the core gameplay into consideration, especially with the new mechanics, especially with tanks feeling like tanks, helicopters maneuvering like helicopters, being more agile now, and planes just overall sucking a lot less, and AA actually working as intended, actually shooting down planes. I think the game did go up from being good, borderline very good, to now extremely very good indeed. So there we go, ticking the top box right there, victory music, ta-da, whatever. Sweet. It is a fantastic game. Honestly, I've been playing it so much, I really have put other games behind, not only because I obviously run a YouTube channel for this, but just because when I want to enjoy it, I really do enjoy it just here. Playing with myself is not quite what I meant to say, but yeah, it is just a really good way to spend the time, kill some units, deploy some strategy, deploy some forces. It's really good crack. Now the audio. Okay, you can hear the music in the background. The music and the OSTs for the game itself are fantastic. They're like really match the theme, the tone of the game. They're very spot on. I wouldn't go quite to eargasm, but it's knocking on it. It is knocking on it. The special effects of the gunfire, cannon fire, explosions, etc. is actually borderline orgasmic. Well, I'll say that because it's very hard for RTSs and games in general to do the depth of volume. So obviously if you're close to a gun, it sounds very different to when it's echoing through a city, etc. And they do actually do that very well. And not the echo aspect, but when you zoom out, obviously the gunfire quietens and sounds a lot more realistic and echoey from a distance. So I won't quite go for eargasm, even though, again, some aspects like this. Listen to this banger. Let me turn it up for you. Yeah, this bang is an absolute tune. Yeah, very good indeed. Audience. Now, interesting one. I think anyone can play this. I even let my wife play it as a Christmas special. She wasn't very good. Not that we're surprised. This is mainly men and boys that play this, and I think, in all honesty, looking at my YouTube stats, which by the way we can quickly do right now as we talk, yeah, when we look at the demographics for the people actually watching my videos, there we go, audience tab, we'll see that most of the men watching are in their 20s, 30s, and what's also funny is that other people who watch my channel enjoy Vulcan and Saucy. No surprises there. I mean, they are very good YouTubers, and I think they obviously do better in this sphere than I do. So fair play to them. Yeah, we can look at the see more tabs section, and we can see audience size and growth. No, okay, it'll take me a while to figure this out, so we're just going to move on. But I'm pretty sure most people watching my channel and this genre in general are going to be between sort of 20 and 30 and 40 years old. And of course there's old people too, like Ask Zeltix, one of my regulars on the channel. You old man. No, just kidding. Definitely aimed at adults, but can be enjoyed by everyone. Bit of swearing, so maybe no kids. PC requirements, right. Yeah. Okay, let's not be dramatic. You can run this, obviously, with reduced settings and stuff like that, on a cheap-ish computer. But if you really do want to enjoy it, you kind of have to be a rich boy. But in all fairness, my computer that I've got, which I obviously use to record and play, it runs 4K on a 4K TV. I know, I'm weird. I play on a TV, not a monitor. And that cost about $1,500. So yeah, that's pretty expensive, I think. But obviously, you know, I knew I'd be doing this for YouTube, which is why I invested in that computer. If you have a fast or decent computer, you definitely can switch off a lot of the non-essential settings, and it will run fairly well, I think. But yeah, if you want to max everything out, then yeah, maybe NASA will need to borrow one of NASA's computers. But otherwise, Rich Boy is absolutely fine for the game. Game size, well, I can tell you the numbers. It's 60 gigs, roughly, which is not 10% of 1 terabyte. It's well, 6% of 1 terabyte. So between big and this one. Yeah, fairly big game. If you've got slow internet, it's going to take you a while to download. But it used to be almost 100, so it used to be that, so yeah, we'll put it in the big section for now. Woof. Difficulty. Wow. Well, my goodness, this is one of those things where there's an endless skill ceiling. And not only in terms of your strategy, your unit understanding, and, you know, the sort of tactics that you deploy. So the micro and macro. So macro is your strategy, tactics is your micro, and knowing what units are capable of and knowing what the enemy units are capable of does require significant brain usage, that's for sure. So that's sort of the memory items and your long-term memory. In terms of actually playing the difficulty of the game, obviously as you get higher in ELO, I do really like the ELO system, but as you get higher in ELO, it does become a lot more difficult to play. Just because your opponents are going to be so much better than you. However, in terms of the actual core learning of the mechanics and stuff like that, and the shortcuts, I think it is sort of easy to learn. Very easy to get hang of it, hard to master. But the more sweaty, the more high you progress up the chain, the more brain usage it's going to be. But otherwise, like, the game is pretty straightforward, pretty simple on the surface. But obviously, if you do want to be in the top 10%, then that's where you've got to apply a lot more brain usage. But it's not only your brain usage, it's about your click rate, your reactions, and your ability to, yeah, get a sweat on. And the more clicks per minute does ultimately get you higher elo up to a certain point, as well as your brain. Sweet, the story. Now, right, okay, this is a very interesting one. I think what I do love is the fact that first and foremost, it is a modern RTS. Very rare. People, games like to do historic, and people like to do futuristic, but rarely do we get actually real-time modern units. Now, of course, some units are prototypes that never really made production. The Comanche is a good example. The Armata has only been on parade squares. We know that the Barbarous with the 57, I've never seen a picture of it. I've seen it with the 30mm, but I've never seen it with the 57, so I don't know. The story goes, if you don't know already, feel free to skip it if you do, that Russia, well, actually it's a training accident, as a lot of conflict sometimes starts, where an American jet gets shot down by accident, or a Russian jet gets shot down by accident, and that escalates to war and a full-scale invasion of the Baltic states. So that's Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. I actually really like that story. They came up with it before some politics happened in, Russia, Ukraine. So obviously a very realistic, unfortunately, scenario, and I'll be honest, I think the story is good. The background setting is fantastic, and the fact that they really try to base their units relevant to the situation is a nice touch. Obviously, it did take ages for Baltics to actually come out, but yeah, listen to that music. Banger, absolute tune. But yeah, the story itself is good. It won't replace your life, definitely not. It is, I wouldn't quite say it's, you know, top tier. There are some issues with the actual story itself. Definitely above average. So yeah, we'll stick in the good category. It is, it's a nice feel of the game. I also really like how you can't have mix and match units like Russia America versus Russia America, etc. I really like how you have to pick one or the other, and I'm sure that the Baltics will get moved into their own faction with due time, into a European states kind of faction right there. Game time. Well, it takes 45 minutes to play a game, about 10 minutes to queue, and 5 minutes for looking at the results afterwards and chatting to your teammates. So it's an hour. Is that average for most games? I'm not sure. I think, you know, some you can spend a lot longer on, but if you're playing back in the day, if you're playing a bit of Black Ops, Modern Warfare 2, then you'd probably spend an hour shooting people. So I think average is pretty a good way to put it. It doesn't feel too long. The battles, especially when it's a really good battle, they fly by. It feels like no time has passed at all. And like I say, it is actually only 45 minutes if you do manage to get it spot on. So yeah, for the casual player, I think it's a very good average amount of time. So it's a really, really nice balance right there as well. Price. Okay. A bit steep is the honest answer. Let's just have a look at the latest price history on Steam DB. So in Britain, it is still £42, and that is that the most expensive? Yeah, is that the most expensive place it is? No, in Switzerland it's the equivalent of 45 quid. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I know, £52. In Israel, 46, Norway, 44.3, Euro. Oh, it's actually more expensive in the euro when converted than the pound. Interesting. Okay, well, obviously, in these highly developed countries, the price is going to be higher. Cheaper in America. God damn you, Americans. The price has gone up in Switzerland. Well, yeah, that's currency for you. Very, very interesting. The cheapest country, by contrast, is the Sasia. I, what? I don't know what that is. Okay, in Ukraine, it's the equivalent of 15 quid. So yeah, fair enough. Price has gone down overall, but I think it's a bit pricey, especially for, well, spoilers, the next issue, the sheer amount of bugs in the game. So I do recommend it. I would be inclined to say it's worth the price. It is a fantastic game, especially if it's on sale. Then it's absolutely worth it on sale. There's so much coming out for it. There's so much potential in the future. There are annoyingly going to be DLCs, so we'll wait to see how much they actually cost. But so far, I've been really enjoying it. It's. I mean, personally, I love it. I probably love it more than the average person. I think the average person would say it's worth the price, but a lot of people would also argue that it's better to be on sale. But for me personally, absolutely worth the price. Worth every penny. I've made the most of the 40 quid that I've spent on it. Well, I actually paid more because of the Vanguard edition, so I probably paid like 50 or something. Yeah, absolutely worth it though. Bugs, yeah, fucking loads. Okay, I've never played Ark Survival Involved. I can't really say. The game itself is a big terrarium, but bugs, funny, but no, can get annoying. Yeah, it really can. There's a lot of bugs in the game, like invisible units not spawning, which has, in all fairness, happened a lot less in my experience. There's other stuff, yeah, the invisible units are still a thing. I don't know how on earth that happened, but there's bugs. There's some broken games where the timer doesn't run out, so yeah, like I said before, a game is 45 minutes, but without the timer timing out, you can literally play till the sun sets, so you can play for 5 days straight if you wanted to. Never heard of as crazy minor bugs. They're definitely not minor. Quite a lot of issues with cheating as well, which is unfortunate because they can't really track cheaters. I mean, I feel for the devs, that is, I imagine, quite a hard thing to solve, but my god is it annoying sometimes. So yeah, definitely can get annoying. Don't know about these two, but very, very annoying indeed. And I guess the most important category out of 10. Well, in vanilla, so as in the before the PTE version, I would quite comfortably give the game a 7 out of 10. I think I'd actually put it as an 8. Again, I'm biased, of course, but I'd put it as an 8 or 9. But I do just, I mean, okay, I'd put it as a 10, to be honest. I did when the game first came out, because again, it was just so great, so new, so fresh. And there's nothing that comes even close. Warno, nah, nowhere near. Wargame Red Dragon, similar devs, yeah, pretty good as well. But nah, especially with all these PTE updates that have just made the game feel so much more better. Tanks feel like they're tanks. You can actually spam your tactics are less of a thing, even though it's still possible, but it's much less of a thing because now you have to use your brain. Crazy, right? To win in a strategy game. And I do really love it. So it used to be maybe an 8 or a 10. I'm now going to absolutely, hands down, give it a 10, maybe 9.5 because of the bugs, but otherwise a 10. And when you think of the PTE versus the vanilla, it puts the vanilla like all the way back to, I don't know, 2, 3, or 4. Whenever you switch versions and try to play the old version of the game on the unupdated, it feels like absolute dog shit. But hey, right now, this game is phenomenal. It's, yeah, PT is the best thing since sliced bread. I've said that many, many times. And the Starhawk is still a very, very beautiful helicopter, which is obviously very important that, you know, you get to play that in the game. And honestly, the range of units, the selection of stuff that you get to play with is unreal. So many technologies, F-35s. I mean, what other games have F-35s? Or F-22s? Or Su-34s? The most beautiful plane in the game. Let's have a look at it right here. Or the 57 for that matter. But yeah, Su-34, what a gorgeous plane. And that's what I'll end the video with. So, let me know your thoughts. If you agree, disagree, or if you think I'm crazy, then yeah, tell me anything you want about PT and about vanilla. And I look forward to reading your comments, because I do actually make a good effort to try and read and reply to as many people as I can. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy PTE, it is fantastic, and just have a great life in general. See you later, bye bye.